Alright, Mixu ready, PsiOniC ready. ZVP for 125 buckies. The series that was supposed to happen last Friday, but we couldn't do it on Friday. Since Friday was Valentine's Day. And our friend PsiOniC had a Valentine's Day plans with his lady. And that was fine until the first series took 2 hours. And then we were just never ever going to be on time. Overall, last Friday, I would say was a very good Big Brain Bouts. We had a 3-2, we had a 3-2. The main event had a 3-0, but I would say it was a very surprising 3-0. So in that way, I didn't hate it as much as I would have hated other 3-0s, but obviously it's never fun. Anyway, let's do it. Hellscape, first round of this single best of 5 today.
Let's get it on.
Round 1, fight!
In the bottom left side, one of the Zergs that has played more than any other Zerg in the Big Brain Bouts, because he just kind of fits the picture, the perfect picture, right? He's always available, he's always eager, he is good enough to play a little bit deeper into the series, into the nights. Makes him a very likely candidate to be selected quite often, because there aren't too many Zergs around his level. This is Mixu, our Finnish Zergi. And he's going up against a man who has played, I think, in the Big Brain Bouts, but it was a long time ago. Most of the time he's not available on the Friday night. This time he was, until he wasn't. But it's all good, it happens. It was not his fault. This is PsiOniC, one of the many great French Protosses we have. Mostly, I think, known for his PvP. That's where he's getting some really good results in from time to time. But I'm sure that his other matchups are not a whole lot worse. His PvP, if anything, is a very tough one to figure out. Surprising start here. He's actually opening up a double gate. Mixu's gas is not particularly early. Mixu's spawning pool is not particularly early. May have something to do with the fact that Mixu has been hatch blocked and then he was forced to take a forward expand, but double gate is really not that hot for your economy. Since obviously we're building a cybercore and a gateway before the Nexus. So this Nexus normally would have been 30-40 seconds on the way at this point. And now it hasn't even started yet. So at least make for an interesting early game. The first 4 or 5 minutes are going to be a little bit more impactful in this ZVP than it normally is. Where Mixu will probably make a couple of safety units, knowing that he can absolutely afford it. Later Nexus means he's not on the clock the way that a Zerg normally is on the clock to get a very good economy going. And we're off. Double chrono even, man. PsiOniC is pretty serious about his early game aggression here. And hey, if he finds 4 or 5 drones early, it's obviously going to be absolutely worth it. But if these adepts don't get anything done, I would say this is hell for the Protoss. Very early on, it would immediately be hell for the Protoss. Mix is also going to annoy PsiOniC with just a couple Zerglings on the other side of the map. But if 2 links start working on probes, it can add up rather quickly. I think we let that shade finish, right? Yep, he lets it finish. And this is where we will start looking for openings. Okay, Mixu maybe he was looking at his Zerglings on the other side of the map for a split second. Tiny bit too late to save the first drone, but he does grab the second adept. High ground adept shouldn't be too annoying. Oh, I like it for Mixu, honestly. Sure, he lost 1 drone, but perfectly fine. PsiOnic's opening is cool, as in that it gives us something different to look at, something different to talk about. But this is probably not what he had in mind. Mixu is damn good. Mixu is not gonna fall apart just because you have 2 gateways a little bit earlier and 2 adepts a little bit earlier than you normally do in this matchup. Still out with adepts with obviously 3 minutes 40 seconds into the game. Zergling speed is done. Now we don't have a lot of links. That is the good part for PsiOniC. So he may actually get rewarded here, especially if he can find the... Ooh, okay. Letting the shade finish up would have been a way better play. But yeah, that's easy for us to say. We knew that Mixu had no Zerglings. You can still let this one finish up though. Like if you don't see any links at all, just do it. And this is exactly what he's going to do. He should grab 3 drones here at least. Maybe 4, but 4 would be a bit of a pipe dream. Cute move there. I like what he tried to do. Tried to move the adapter right on top of the drone so the drone couldn't morph into a spore crawler. Did not work out. So almost 5 minutes in. 36 against 36, 4 against 4. I still like it for Mixu. PsiOniC, by the way, has obviously gone Twilight Council, but he's gone Blink first. A little bit surprising. I was almost thinking that he would always go Resonating Glaive, Adept off the back of a double gate opening like this. But it makes sense that he probably feels that that's just going to die against a Roachling Ravager counter, and he's not wrong. And you can obviously go for a Dark Shrine, but it's dreaming a little. Because then Mixu could just wait until he can get Overseers. So PsiOniC shades 3 more adepts to the other side of the map, but Mixu's got an excellent answer for these as well. Gets all over those 3. There's anything done. It's not getting any better for PsiOniC. It's cool that he's not playing Stargate. It's cool that he didn't go for Oracles the way that people always go for Oracles. But there's a reason why the meta is the meta. Simon gets cancelled as well. Mixu now feels that he's absolutely got the freedom. He's got the info that he needed to just freely drone up 11 drones at once. Gonna give him proper 3-base saturation in the near future. Going up to 4 bases. Well, PsiOniC, oh, that adept was not in the right spot, but he somehow clicked it back in time. Excellent save. That could have been really bad. If all these links walk into the natural main base, there's probably 5 more workers going down, and we're already playing a relatively low eco gateway only style. That would have probably been game over. I don't like it a whole lot right now for PsiOniC. Not that. Just because he prevented that, we are flying, because we're absolutely not. Cryptumor is going to go down on the edge. And Mixus is going to have excellent map vision, excellent map presence with all these links roaming around. Plus, well, melee is not mega quick, but it's going to finish up in time. A little drop alert. A little while ago, I really feel that Mixu made some great progress in this matchup, and he started implementing a lot more drop alert play. As Mixu's just fast, man. It doesn't really matter what game Mixu plays. Mixu is just pretty damn fast. And it's definitely not speed that's holding him back from becoming one of the very best Zergs in the world. At this point, he's knocking on that door. He's not quite there yet. But I think these styles, they just really suit him. And there's a way to get some value out of all that APM that he's working with. 8 links will get dropped. More links running all over the third. I mean, PsiOniC is now all in because he doesn't have recall either. PsiOniC does not have recall. And oh my goodness, this is... Let's just forget about... Honestly, I wouldn't even wipe in any units here. I don't know what I would do. Here are the Stalkers, but Stalkers do not base trade anywhere near as well as Zerglings do, especially not links with +1 melee. I would have loved to see Mixu use the Adepts to actually break open the natural too. Instead, he's gonna bring the Banelings back, the Links back. If I said Mixu use the Adepts, I obviously meant Mixu use the Banelings, but... It's still really bad for the Protoss, because you're down to 2 bases, but... It's turning into a pretty successful little counter. Do we have recall now? No, we still don't have recall. We don't have recall anytime soon. He's so stuck, guys. He will not have recall. There is just no way to get home. And links with +1 melee, Queen support, maybe a couple Banelings eventually, will always win this fight. Even if the Stalker positioning was really good, the micro was good. It's not enough. I feel like that is a guaranteed 1-0 lead for Mixu, who actually makes 11 drones here. I don't think that's really needed. After killing the third, killing a whole bunch of probes there, but even going up to 5 bases. What a gamer! And more drop alert play and an infestation pit. I think just nothing but a Link Bane here would honestly win. Would pretty much always win. There's no Storm, no Colossus. Let's go pure Link Bane and have a field day. Relive the glory days of Zerg in Wings of Liberty. Actually making some roaches, which I find surprising. Maybe he's worried about like 8, 10, 12 Zealots with +1, but Banes are really good against Zealots. So. Don't think it's really worth going for the roaches and the links here. It doesn't matter. What the hell is this? Hallucinated Phoenix, I guess. Maybe PsiOniC is just trying to figure out if he did something that slows Mixu down, and well, he did. Just not enough. Absolutely not enough. 10 minutes into Hellscape. I don't see a way that Mixu doesn't win this game. And I'm sure that Mixu doesn't see a way to win this game. Or does not end up winning this game. And I don't think PsiOniC really has a clear path to victory. But he is gonna try one more time. This time he does have recall, but his army is just weak. His army is legitimately just weak. Very sad that Mixu gave up on the banks, but it doesn't matter. Roaches, lings, ravages, especially on creep. The recall gets used, but PsiOniC ends up losing a whole bunch of sentries and stalkers anyway. This is the hopium, the copium, the puffing that our gamers in this scene often talk about. With high finishing up, we can even get Adrenal Glands, and that is the first thing that Mixu fires up immediately, which makes sense. Hello Allison, hello Deka. Yeah, the series was postponed, and it's obviously a bit of an unfortunate moment in the middle of the day on the Sunday when there's another tournament happening. It's all good. People can always watch it back on YouTube. And these gamers still have an awesome opportunity to win 100 buckies. So we'll give it to them. One cannon dies, the second cannon dies. PsiOniC will leave, guys. There really is just no way that he can ever turn this around. It's once more the Dropper Lord, an absolute MVP Dropper Lord that created a really big problem in the natural, while the other Lings and Banelings created a big problem at the third base. PsiOniC, his original opening, the double gate at that pressure, just didn't really pay off either. It's fun, as I said many times. I like that he's giving us something different to look at. It gives me something else to talk about rather than the good old Oracle, Stargate. We go up to 3 bases, we activate Pulsar Beam, we drop a Stasis Trap. It's fun to see him try to make a different style work. And perhaps if he would have let that one shade finish up in the main base, he would have been able to get a tiny bit of momentum going. But I also think that Mixu should never find himself in a scenario where he's got only 4 Zerglings. I think that was playing with fire, but he got away with it. Turns out he's quite a pyromaniac. And Mixu can play with fire and get away with it. Look at this, guys. We're going from Hellscape into Errorholm. Finally, I have found gamers that like the maps that I have put into the map pool instead of stupid King's Cove, Abyssal Reef, and Neon Violet Square. A 1-0 lead for our Finnish Zergi as we hop into round 2.
Round 2. Fight!
Top right side of Errol, it is the French Protoss, probably no longer playing double gate. I think we'll just go back to single gate. I love that he tried it, even if it didn't work out. He said he had a fun evening, but I believe something did go wrong last Friday. Let me just actually read what he wrote, because he wrote me on a bad moment where I was a little bit busy. What did our man PsiOniC tell me? Something about the waiter? Couldn't hope for a better night. We ordered a nice glass of champagne and a Negroni. For me, I don't know what Negroni is, but the waiter literally fell with all the champagne onto her. What a lovely start. It felt like going Nexus first against 12 pool drone pool. So apparently there was a tiny bit of drama on his beautiful romantic dinner. But hey, hopefully then they get at least all the food for free. I don't know if that happened, but I think in a lot of restaurants, if the waiter does trip and drops a full glass of champagne over one of the guests, I feel like you're supposed to get the drinks for free and the food for free. I feel like that's the least the place could do. And then you can obviously still give them a little tip, right, to make up for the free service. I would still give something. I would never just say like, alright, thanks, everything for free, and then leave. It's not like they do it on purpose. But if you get nothing, I would also be molding a little bit. I'm not a man who makes a lot of demands in general if I go to public places. I just try to be nice, have a good time, hope everybody's happy. But I do feel like the ball is really in their corner then to offer something nice in return. Top right side, guys, down 0-1. But I'm sure that he still had a fun night last Friday, despite the glass of champagne being dropped on his lady. This is PsiOniC. And he is indeed going for a regular 1-gate expand with a Nexus into a core. Bottom left side of Errorholm, looking good, playing good, overall having a pretty good record as well in those big brain bouts. I'm a big fan of the kid. I've loved rooting for him for a long time. This is Mixu. Now he's not that young anymore, but still a kid in my eyes. Goes for a lot of the gamers. I guess not many of them truly are kids anymore. I guess you can really say that maybe Eba is a kid. But hey, if Dana White can have every single press conference talk about fighters that are 38 and 7-time world champions and say that they are great kids, if those guys can be great kids, I can definitely call Mixu a great kid. I know, mate. I am well aware of it. But old but gold. As long as we're happy, I don't think it really matters how old or young we are. Or in Dutch as they say, and I'm sure they say that in English too. You're as old as you feel. Sure, PsiOniC is starting to feel a little bit old right now with Link showing up in his natural again. The first Adept is going to look for some drone damage on the other side of the map. At least it should. Instead it's battling a queen. That's not a battle that the Adept really wants to engage in. He's doing a good job in limiting the damage of these Links. But obviously, oh my goodness, matey. PsiOniC losing an Adept in the natural at this point. Mixu is just kind of throwing a little spanner in the works where PsiOniC has this game plan and there is so little that's supposed to happen in PvZ early on. But if your opponent then surprises you and he starts being a nuisance with Links in the natural, Links in the main, it makes it hard to have perfect defense at home and still control your Adepts properly on the other side of the map. Too young to be allowed to travel abroad for an offline event without your parents? Do your parents like Starcraft too? Because that would really help. For most people, it's not the age that's holding them back, it's obviously the funds. Because traveling to Starcraft events, as awesome as it is not always cheap. And that's why I try to tell the European fans, because for people in Europe, it can be somewhat cheap to at least travel to a home story cup. It's like, if that's something you want to do, do it. Like, you're going to regret if you've never done it. Before you know it, 5 more years go by and it's almost impossible. So if you have the opportunities now, you should just really do it. And it's always fun. I generally think that out of the 100 and something events that I've gone to, I don't think I ever had a bad time. Sometimes the show was bad, or sometimes maybe the city was a bit boring, but even then, I don't think I ever had a bad time. I like gaming, but dislike paying money for gaming. I mean, that's reasonable, I think. I understand the fear that some parents have, you know, when kids start buying a few too many skins or microtransactions, and even explaining that you're not paying for anything in the game, but let's say you're trying to support your favorite YouTuber, streamer, content creator. I can understand that if parents are not really in touch with that idea, that is scary. Seems like your dad is a very wise man if he told you that. I think what will really help parents in general, if they see something once, like Reynor, for instance, when Reynor was very young and he was already damn good, like even when he was 12, I think, right? 12, 13. It made sense that his parents came with him to an event. Like, he's literally 12. Then when he was allowed to travel a little bit more, when he was 16, his mom or his dad, they would kind of alternate. They would come with him from time to time. But after going to like 5, 6 events and they see his friends, they see that he's in good hands, right? Spending time with me, Lambo, etc., Harsum, you know. Then as a parent, it's suddenly not scary anymore. So I think the moment that Reynor was like 16 and a little bit, and he had his 6, 7, 8 event to go to, I think his parents at one point said, all right, you can do this yourself. We've seen enough. We know there is nothing to worry about here. You do your thing, have fun with your friends, and just try to be smart. And that is very difficult for Reynor, but he's done a pretty good job, all things considered. Triple Oracle and Blinkstalk is moving out, and PsiOniC even has a pylon finishing up, and that means that he's probably going to try to get a gateway here, but Mixu's all over it, and Mixu, his Zergling count is quite high, not too many stasis scrappies here. I think PsiOniC is in serious trouble. I would hit us with a recall, mate. Tell me you have a recall available. Tell me you have a recall. Oh my god, he has a recall, but it's so freaking late. Let me check the Nexus. No, he had it all along, guys. If you get a recall with 150 energy, you legitimately had it all along. I am surprised that PsiOniC thought that was going to be a good fight. Now Mixu's drone count is low, but his link count is freaking high. Energy recharge has been used. I wouldn't even hate another Oracle here, or even a Void Ray, anything. Anything to make you feel a bit safer against all these Zerglings. I do think PsiOniC is actually okay. Excellent blink onto the high ground. As long as he doesn't lose the Nexus, he's fine. Now, oh, there's a Dropper Lord as well, dropping a couple of links into the natural. It's very annoying, but Stalkers and Probes can take care of it. It's good damage by Mixu, but we can't pretend that this didn't hurt Mixu either, because Mixu has already lost 89 Zerglings in an 8-minute game. By the looks of it though, he's gonna follow this up with a very strong Hydra link timing. I don't think PsiOniC is gonna have any storms, any Colossus. PsiOniC needs to be so cautious with this move out. No shield battery, no units in position. Mixu's playing excellent. Mixu is EVP, even though a lot of Zergs absolutely hate this matchup at the moment. Mixu is showing us that if you're just active enough, if you keep on trying, if you give your opponent some different looks, there really is some cool stuff that you can do. And everything that Mixu is doing so far is paying off in a pretty big way. He even split off a couple of Zerglings into the corner, trying to morph those into Banelings to find even bigger connections. The only thing that Mixu needs to be cautious of, though, is that he doesn't attack with a very small group of Hydras, because now he loses the links. This Hydra move out was not it. This Hydra move out was truly not it, as he ends up losing a couple of them. Links go through the meat grinder. For the first time in 9 minutes, I would say that this actually looks very good for PsiOniC at this point, or at least it looks very playable. I don't think he should get too carried away either, and he just blinks forward on creep into Hydra. Link Queen loses 2 out of the 3 oracles, wants to win this fight. I don't like that blink at all, mate. Oh, PsiOniC. I understand the panic. I understand that he felt some pressure because obviously he lost a lot of links, and it's been a bit of a hectic, chaotic game, but that blink was so unnecessary. It was so unnecessary. Now he's still here, to be fair, but he's gonna have a hard time getting home. Mixu has a couple links on top of probes in the 3rd base, and with a couple, I mean, like 4 couples of links. 8 very happy Zerglings finding 5 probes. Stylistically, this seems to be a bit of an issue because Mixu likes to trade, Mixu likes to be active, and that is apparently how PsiOniC likes to play his DVPs as well. But this just favors Mixu. Mixu seems to be a tiny bit quicker in a couple of these exchanges. It's a shame. It was a problematic game for PsiOniC, and it looked like it was really going to go somewhere because he actually did a great job in defending, not once but twice. But that blink on creep was so silly. It is obviously true, real strategy gaming. You're not right. If you see everything and if you see how the battle plays out, it's very easy to say that that was a blink you shouldn't have made. Everybody makes a bad blink from time to time, but I think the moment you see that the Zerg is retreating here, and you know you've just killed like 30-40 links, you know that he made a lot of links earlier, there is no need to blink into, you know, the queens, the links that are already on creep with +1 melee. Because the moment you blink forward, you know you can't blink them back for a little while. It was just, I think if the game sense was a tiny bit sharper on the side of PsiOniC, he should have known that that was not needed. That this was not the moment to go for it. Maybe just shave off 2-3 Hydras, go back, and just get some vision. You have triple Oracle, you've got map presence. The Nexus is now died, by the way, guys. Against just a couple links on the other side of the map. PsiOniC is really all in, but yeah, this is just not enough. It is simply not enough. Fun interactive game, very dynamic gameplay, but at this point, after he just killed all the links and he saved a decent amount of probes, he's got 47, he still has triple Oracle alive. Like, the game does not look that bad. He's not rich. He is not rich, but it's okay. I mean, he didn't know that. If you're talking about he doesn't know whether or not the blink is good, you can say that he also knows it's 5 base against 3 base. But the bases doesn't really matter. What matters is how far along is the tech, how big is the army, how big is the work account. And you don't have access to all those numbers, but what you do have access to is knowing your opponent made a million links early on, just made more links that you killed all, and then you see a couple of Hydras, shaving a couple of them off. I think you drop a Revelation, which he does. Yeah. I mean, he thought maybe this was it, but even if this is it, Stalkers die so quickly if Blink is on cooldown. They just die so freaking quick if Blink is on cooldown. It's the extra Hydras that show up from the top left, it's the extra links. I mean, against the initial army, that Blink is good, but it's just, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to slow the game down a tiny bit, even if you want to be an aggressive player, even if you like the trading style. You don't always have to go for the forward blinks. that was a bit of a blunk. Because, you know, down 8 workers, having +2 on the way, having a couple of trades, shaving off 2-3 expensive Hydras, it's really not that bad for PsiOniC. And it's hard to always know where you're at. But it wasn't that bad at that point. Even if there were 5 hatcheries or 4 hatcheries down, 5th one close to finishing up. It was a more than playable game after the second hold.
Round 3. Fight.
But yeah, StarCraft is indeed a whole lot easier if you can see everything and if you know everything. Or if you can just turn back the hands of time and redo certain battles. Unfortunately, that's not the way it is, and now this man needs to win 3 maps in a row if he wants to walk away with $100 that is provided by Basilisk. Top right side, the French Protoss down 0-2, PsiOniC. The Zerg, who already has a good record in the Big Brain Bouts, is about to make his record a whole lot better. The Finnish Zerg, 1 map away from winning 100 buckies. It was supposed to happen on the Friday. Instead, it's happening here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. It is Mixu. Did I hear that SC2 was not selected for EWC? I don't think you heard that, because I didn't hear it. So if you heard it before me, which would definitely be a little bit surprising. But at this point, nothing would surprise me, to be fair. But no. There are still 2 games, officially 2. It could always be 3, it can always be 1, because sometimes games appear and disappear from the website. I do think at this point it's decided, Allison. If at this point it's still not decided, I have no idea what they're doing behind the scenes. So I assume it's decided. And I hope it's decided in our favor. It's just not public general knowledge yet. But one game will be announced in 3 days, in 22 hours. The other game will be announced in 12 days. Obviously, I generally hope for the love of everything that they announce StarCraft in 3 days. If they don't, then we've got 2 incredibly long weeks ahead of us. You saw Magnus Carlsen signing with Team Liquid? I know. Would have loved to sign Magnus for Basilisk, but... Team Liquid is going to make a serious run at the club rewards this summer. Obviously, last year they already did very good. They finished 2nd. Assuming that StarCraft 2 is going to make it, knowing that they've got a great Dota team, right? They've got a great Counter-Strike team. I'm sure they're good in some of the other games that I don't keep up with. Having Magnus Carlsen and another incredibly strong chess player, and then maybe Clem for StarCraft. Maybe they'll beat Falcons. Sure, highest Templar, but as much as I love that the fans really... hey, nope. That's a big mistake, guys. It's 100 minerals going down the drain. As much as I love that the fans did kind of like show some Twitter activity and responded to stuff on Instagram and Reddits and polls, etc. In the end of the day, that's not what's really going to make the difference. It definitely helps, and I think it's awesome, and it will never hurt. But just because 50 people responded to a Twitter post, that doesn't mean that millions of dollars are going to be spent, right? It's going to take a little more than that. And I don't know everything that's happening behind the scenes. I wish I did, because then I would have more useful things to say about all of it. There are a lot of rumors, and you guys saw Zombie Grub also addressing one of those rumors recently on Twitter. I don't know what's true, and unless it is confirmed, I don't really want to participate in it, but we'll definitely know soon. One thing is for sure, guys, there will be clarity. This period cannot last forever. It has definitely lasted already 5-6 months too long at this point, but it cannot last forever. So I'm sure we'll find out what's true, what's accurate, and what's not within 2 weeks. Or maybe they won't tell us everything, but at least we'll have a very good idea of what's happening. That is all that there is to say about it. And I know it's very unsatisfying for a lot of fans. And I know people want clarity and they want answers, or they want to do stuff, they want to call to arms, but sometimes there is just nothing to do. It's very frustrating, but that's just how it is. No, it's not sealed lips, it's just I don't know. I wish I knew. I feel very confident that StarCraft is gonna be there, but I have no idea in what form, what shape, why has it taken so long, and is it just for 1 year or multiple years? I don't know. I'm just a very strong believer. My faith, my confidence comes from the fact that I have casted ESL tournaments since literally 2011, guys. That was my first ESL tournament for StarCraft. I cannot imagine a world where if they quit and they let us in limbo for 6 months, that after 14 years of working for them, with them, never against them, that I wouldn't know at this point. That is why I'm very confident. It is just, it is incredibly unlikely that they would do that. And I understand that I'm not an employee, and I completely understand that ESL owes me nothing. I never expect, you know, special treatment or whatever. But I do know that it's, in the end of the day, a very reasonable company that loves esports, is still about passion to some degree. And they would have let me know at this point. That is my belief. You can believe it, well, I don't. It wouldn't be the end of the world. Once more, I don't think that they owe me anything, but I just figured that I would have known at this point. But that's all I can say about it, guys. Let's go ahead and enjoy PsiOniC Mixu Game 3. There are many other moments to talk about EWC. We don't always have to do it during the Big Brain Bouts or during the Monday Night Weekly. 2 links are split off into the natural, a few more links into the main. Mixu, again, throughout the entire series, has been trying to morph a couple of banelings into the corner of the main base of PsiOniC. PsiOniC has spotted that each and every single time. Does, by the way, feel that PsiOnic's favorite Protoss play is Hero, not just because of this wall, but because of the fact that he never has a unit on hold position. And sometimes that does work out well for a Protoss, because they can actually kill all the units that walk into the main natural and they don't lose that much. So not every run by is necessarily a disaster. It's not always bad if units show up in your natural or main, because if you just deal with it in an excellent manner, you're gonna be okay. 70 drones on the side of Mixu, 64 on the side of PsiOniC. I do think you make your life a lot easier by having a unit on hold position, or even a probe for all I care, but that's just me. There is no Storm yet, no Colossus. We do at least have a Templar Archives for the first time in this series, so we've got an Archon. Archons can be very useful against Hydra Link Bane, but I don't know if Archons are the only thing. I would go for it here. F it. I know the Giga Chat Spore is scary and it's so powerful, but if I see just one Spore Crawler, guys, and I've got triple Oracle, oh, I'm going for it, baby. I wonder how long it takes for 3 oracles with this much energy to kill a spore. You'll probably have to send 1 oracle back for a split second, and then you kill it. Spores don't have a lot of HP. But I guess the scariest thing about that is that a queen shows up around the corner, transfused from downtown, and then you hate life. So I understand that PsiOniC didn't go for that one. Mix is on 84 drones in this best of 5 that has gone by relatively quick at this point. I do think PsiOniC should be able to hold. We've got stasis trappies, we've got archons, we even have a little bit of static defenses. Oh, it's another little link drop in the main. 4 probes going down. Gotta love Mixu and his activity with the drop lords. With Stormy, PsiOniC should be fine. It obviously all comes down to execution. It comes down to how well he handles everything, but he really should be fine here. And if I was Mixu, I would probably start gearing up for Hive Tech. He does have 190 freaking supply, but PsiOnic's army is not particularly tiny either. I don't know if waiting for bailing speed is the play here. Mixu's almost maxed out. If you wait for bailing speed, your opponent's just gonna have even more cannons, even more batteries. I really love the SimCity by PsiOniC this game. More storms to work with. That is a really good storm. This cannot go well for Mixu. I won't even say that it comes down to execution. I feel like this cannot possibly go well for Mixu. He does take out one of the Stalkers that was keeping the wall safe. But the extra Warpins keep PsiOniC safe against the run-by. Now we already have Zealots working on drones on the other side of the map. Do we have a proper series? Starting to believe here. Now moving out, guys, with High Templars can be a tiny bit scary. Especially if you don't really know where the Banelings are and Baneling speed is on the menu. There are only 4 Banelings at the moment. Much cleaner game by PsiOniC. Game 1 couldn't really get it going. Game 2 perhaps a tiny bit of a throw with the Blanc. Does cancel that Nexus. I would have loved to see him show some real cojones. He's not cancelled that one. I think the Storms would have probably saved us. There was very little DPS left. Run-bys continue to be annoying. Banelings morphing in the main base. PsiOniC, no, don't lose 3 oracles like that. Okay, now this game is becoming a mess, and the Banes are finishing up. No, the Banes are not finishing up. He has Zealots. That was not a cancel, by the way, on the Nexus, guys. 400 minerals down the drain. Well, now Hive is almost done. Don't hate it for PsiOniC, but losing that Nexus, being out of position, another run-by, it's scaring me a little. Still has 2 of the 3 original oracles. War Prism in the bottom. Couple Zealots going through the center. They're gonna storm in. They're gonna start working on drones. 1 drone dies. Should have been a little bit more. All position can't get it done, but this Protoss army is now in a pretty good spot. Lurker count is decent, but we don't have those sexy high-tech Lurker upgrades yet. So PsiOniC casually gets a hatchery. Can we save the Nexus, please? We can, right? Yeah, we can. Zergling count just not quite high enough. +2 Zealots to the rescue. Now the Zerg army will get a lot more intimidating now that it's Hive. Now that we have Seismic Spines on the way. Lurker counted already 10. We're going into 12 Lurkers, but of the current map pool, you mean? Of the ladder map pool? Map with a ramp. I don't know. Hard to say. Obviously, maps are not exactly the same. There are some maps that are similar. I think Ley Lines, Whispers of Gold, somewhat similar, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Scarlett is not very active. Maybe still playing something once in a while, but I cannot remember for the life of me when Scarlett has really competed in anything. If you ever wonder about a player's activity mate, and if you're wondering if it's just you who's been missing the games, just use Aligalak. Aligalak is your friend. Type in Scarlett, see when her most recent official matches were. Aligalak is very up to date, and you can have those answers yourself. I don't know anything about Scarlett playing in anything at the moment. 3 Lurkers is not enough to keep this Protoss army at bay. Couple good Lurker shots regardless, but it doesn't really matter. PsiOniC dropping some nasty juicy storms on the right. Mixu is playing a good game, but it seems that PsiOniC has really properly stepped it up. Now it's 2 Hydras and a Lurker that get dropped. That could actually become a little bit annoying. We have a mothership on the way as well. I'm kind of a fan of that. This is chaotic, man. There's a couple Zealots in the bottom right. There are Zealots in the natural, no detection over here, so that is a little bit unfortunate. That Lurker is going to be annoying, but this Protoss army is really what it's all about. We've got 9 High Templars, and I kind of wonder where are they at. And they're just chilling by themselves in the center. That is a little bit adventurous. Seems like the Robo produced an Observer, so that is good. Or we recall an Observer. It should really be PsiOniC, but Mixu ain't making it easy on him. PsiOniC is only on 54 probes. That is not great. The Lynx don't have Adrenal Glands. If they did, this Nexus be toast. With Adrenal Glands, this Nexus would have been dead, but there is no Adrenal. Nexus is not being that rich. 13 Lurkers remaining. What do we have here? A tiny Hydra drop into the main base. I really love how Mixu is trying to find the damage in so many different ways in a matchup that can be a bit still. The Hydra run by into the center, sniping the 4th base again. Well, Mothership is about to come out, and PsiOniC should be able to take a decent fight here, but the Storm's a little bit late. We need Storms here. Mixu targeting the High Templars, getting some incredibly good shots off, but that also allows the Archons to get right on top of the Lurkers. 3 High Templars remain. I want to say it's good enough. I hope it's good enough for PsiOniC. Love to see a little more Starcraft today. Archons continue to lead the charge. 1 Immortal in the mix, very useful too, to just deal some real damage to these buildings. 2 out of 3 Oracles, by the way. Kudos to that. Still alive. Yeah, PsiOniC has been an excellent wing commander in this one. Sends them back immediately, drops another revelation. It is Zealots, Archons, High Templars chasing down a few Hydras that do have that little Hydra dash. But that's not going to make this army disappear. Lurkers doing their thing. Multiple Archons, very low on HP, but they all still live, all besides 1. There's 3 Archons that are like 30 HP combined. But it is not enough for Mixu, and after 15 minutes of gaming on ley lines, PsiOniC gets one on the board and made sure that we had only a single 3-0 last Friday. What are Archons afraid of? Archons are definitely afraid of a lot of things, but it's very situational. Archons can be so good against almost every single Zerg unit. They're very bad against Broodlords, by the way. Very rarely will you see Archons look good against Brutes, but like it just comes down to positioning. Lurkers can be absolutely amazing against Archons, but if Archons are right on top of them and they allow Immortals to fire, then obviously Archons can be very good against Lurkers. Archons are god tier against Zerglings, but if a single Archon gets surrounded by Zerglings, they suddenly die. So it's just all positioning. Roaches on creep, very good against Archons alone. But if Archons are supported by Force Fields, Immortals, Storm, then the Archons are good against. So it's never really just the Archon, right? The thing is, mass Archon by themselves is not that good, since Archons are very clunky, big units, and they have very short range. So if you have too many Archons, they'll just block each other. You're going to have 4 or 5 Archons fight, and that is kind of it. 1-2, as we're going to load into Game 4, Eldorado. Winner of this best of 5 gets 100 buckies for a single series. The loser will still get 25 for playing.
Round 4. Fight!
Bottom left side of Eldorado, Gold Rush. We are looking at the main base of our French Protoss playing a good game 3. This is PsiOniC on this modern day version of Golden Wall. I think I like Golden Wall a tiny bit more, to be honest. But it's still a fun map. Honestly, I've got no issues with Eldorado. It's pretty fun. Bottom right side of Eldorado, the Finnish is Zerg. Still up 2-1. Has an excellent track record on the Friday nights. Can he also do it on the Sunday afternoon? This is Mixu. Our very own Mixu. I do think that if we get EWC and there are regional tournaments to earn points, like there's obviously a good chance that if we do get EWC this year, which we all hope for, that we don't have the same thing as we had in the past, where it's like guaranteed 1 North American, guaranteed X amount of Koreans, guaranteed X amount of Europeans. So if there is nothing regional, I don't know. I don't even know if Scarlett will really make like an effort in coming back and playing a lot of Starcraft. If there is regional competition with a lot of points given out in the region, then I'm sure that Scarlett will try. Even if there is Trigger and Australia to worry about that are very good. And maybe even Special will try again. And obviously Chem is around. But I think if you have an opportunity to gather a lot of points within a locked region like NA, Scarlett probably will still give it a very good shot. I'd like it. But a second time in the series. We did the double gate in game 1 and we're gonna do it again here in game 4. There was potential in that first game. There was a single shade that we cancelled. If we didn't cancel that, it could have gone well. I find it scary to play like this as a Protoss myself, because I just feel like your economy is kinda garbage for a while, and if the opening does not pay off, especially with the double chrono too, but you kinda have to, it's somewhat mandatory. If you open double gate, you're just pretty far behind. But let's hope that PsiOniC knows what he's doing. Maybe he will find what he is looking for this time. Can't really delay the natural from being taken. Could have tried to maybe wipe in a pylon a little bit earlier, but it's obviously then an even bigger investment. Zergling speed not even halfway done yet, so there really should be some potential for these adapts. I love that forward creep tumor by Mixu. I think that's very smart early on here against this opening. 1 drone, maybe 2 drones. It's already decent damage, right? What PsiOniC is doing here, guys, is already decent damage. All these drones not mining, getting 3 drones this quickly, getting a couple of Zerglings. It's already looking light years better than it did in game 1. And don't forget, adapt number 3 and 4 on the way. Seems like they're chilling at home at this point. Maybe worried about Mixu again running Zerglings to the other side of the map, like he has done. But this is a strong start by PsiOniC. PsiOniC wins this game, guys, and last Friday would have given me 3 out of 4 series being 3-2. And the only series that didn't have multiple games was SKillous Spirit. And SKillous won literally like 14 games in a row against Spirit before they played on Friday, and Spirit casually wins 3-0. Spirit, I do think, is one of these guys that will play his absolute best when it comes to a big brain bouts best of 5. Well, if you make him play in a tournament where he has to win 8 series to win like a single, or to win $50 or $100, you'll see him play and he'll do his best, but it's not quite the A-tier effort. It's almost unexplainable that he can lose 14 games in a row in tiny one-day events against SKillous. And then the first time that they play for guaranteed money immediately, it is a 3-0 for him. Couple of adepts are going to shade into the natural. Resonating Glaive is the follow-up. There was no unit in the wall-off again at home. So while we are battling with our adepts on the other side of the map, Mixu does run a few links successfully. Oh my god, this was a bad adept attack. The Dark Shrine gets scouted as well. PsiOniC, my friend, how hard can it be to leave one unit at home? And if he just has one unit, guys, dealing with these links in the wall-off, then he can let the Dark Shrine finish up, and he probably controls his adepts on the other side of the map so much better. And I still think he's in a good spot, because Mix's economy is just bad, but it's painful. Painful to see so many things go wrong. Oh my god. The adepts moved! The adepts moved, so more links walked in. Resonating Glaive finally done now, but we barely have any adepts. The probes are battling more than any probe should have ever battled in its life. 6 workers in the end go down. Now the worker counts are exactly tied. 41 against 41. PsiOniC, mate. I know Hero is cool. We all love Hero. But can you freaking stop letting links just walk into your main and natural? It's painful. Now we're also 6 minutes in, and he's still a 2 base Protoss. This game looked very promising, but I'm starting to hate it, because you can already see him whopping in a Nexus. Links show up, has to cancel it again. Adepts probably won't get too much done on the other side of the map. Oh my goodness, mate. This game started off as brilliant as I say a double gate opening could start off. But we are really letting this one slip away. Maybe these adepts with glaives can make things a little bit closer again, but Mixu has been able to make his first few roaches. Yeah, the roach count is more than high enough. I don't think these 5 adepts get too much done. Couple drones end up falling. I'm actually surprised that he got 3 there. The Lynx get another cancel or denial on an attempt of going up to 3 bases. We are now rebuilding the Dark Shrine that we cancelled 3 minutes ago against that Zergling run by. Oh my goodness, amigo. Now Mixu's economy is in the dumps. Mixu's gonna attack with roaches, lings, and ravages, and PsiOniC has no shield battery. PsiOniC has nothing. Well, he's got 1 sentry that is on the wrong side of the force fields. Here comes the Mixu, as he is ready to just end it once and for all. Is he committed? Yes. Is he on lair tech? Yes, because he has an overseer, obviously. I think this is just it. Oh, PsiOniC. When you have studied a few too many hero replays, things can go wrong. This was such a promising start. This could and perhaps this should have been a 5-game series. But run by after run by after run by after run by throws a spanner in those works. And it is once more the tiny Finnish phenom Mixu who gets the W in a series that was supposed to be played on the Friday night. Instead, it got played here today. Relatively short games, decent amount of action. I am overall not disappointed. Mixu just looking good, like he has looked good so often lately. Well done by him. Played well, fun stuff. PsiOniC, a man who can excel in PvP, really needs to just put a unit on hold position in PvC. It's okay to like Hero. It's okay to be a little bit inspired by Hero. But if we're losing just because we can't leave a unit at home, like Hero can leave a unit at home, then it becomes a little bit painful.